this demo, we are looking at a really exciting new release from IK Multimedia, the AmpliTube TONEX AI modelling pedal. Essentially, this offers the TONEX amp modelling software in pedal format. Now, if you're not too familiar with what the TONEX modelling software is, then basically it allows you to model any amp, cab, or certain types of pedal, these types of pedals, or any combination of these. So you can set up tone models which may be a pedal on their own, or they may be an entire rig with a pedal, amp, and cab. So, layman's terms, with the software, you get 1,000 tone models. That's 100 amps and 50 pedals. Or you can model your own rig, right? Combinations of certain pedals and amps and cabs. Or you can download user-captured models from the ToneNet community for free. Check it out. There's loads of them. Now, the pedal itself, I got on with like a house on fire. You basically have really simple banks of 3, and there's 100 of them. So you get 300 presets you can program your stuff into. So these basically help you navigate through those. Then you've got this row of knobs here, which allows you to tweak any of the sort of parameters like EQ, gain, volume, and there's a secondary set underneath the bottom where you also get access to some built-in effects. So I'll show you those in a second. But if we have a look at the top of the pedal, you have a range of inputs and outputs. You basically have MIDI, there's an expression pedal control, there's a headphone out, which is brilliant. You can also output direct to an audio interface for recording, and for live use you can either send to a real power amp and cab, or you could travel light and go straight out into a PA. That's a lot of features. Before my mouth starts watering, let's dive in and check out some riffs. Quick run through of my recording setup. It's just guitar straight into the TONEX pedal, out of that straight into my audio interface and into my DAW. No other processing going on whatsoever. So it's really close to what you would hear coming out of the headphone jack of the pedal. Now, one thing I've found with modelling amps is that high gain stuff and super clean tones are always bang on. And this is no exception. So for the first example you heard in the intro, that was Duality by Slipknot. And James Root's tone is an orange rockaverb, right? And I just used a rockaverb preset and just tweaked it ever so slightly with roughly the settings he has on his orange rockaverb, right? And it is pretty close. Another thing I changed was the threshold of the noise gate, right, just to cut out some of the noise. For that stuff, right? God, that's good, isn't it? And I mean, it's as, responsive as you'd expect an amp to be. Next up, we've got a couple of Mesa amp patches. First is a super spanky clean one, and we're going to do Blackbird by Alter Bridge for both of these. The second one is a different type of Mesa amp, right? So that goes like this. Lovely clean tone, isn't it? Then if we flip over to the distorted patch, we have this. Wonderful for soloing too, so it's just such a high gain tone, isn't it? Now, those first three examples were based on amp models, okay? And the next one is a pedal model. That is it, right? There's no no cab or anything going on. I'm going to show you two different guitars. This guitar has super old strings, right? I don't know how long they've been on here, but they need changing. But still, listen to how sparkly clean this is, right? Basically a perfect Nirvana clean tone. Now these strings aren't new either, but they're newer than the other one, and this is a bit more twangy, right? It's got a single coil, but check this out. Got a really wonderful bass response. Now another clean tone we have, I think, is perfect for Silverchair. This I tweaked ever so slightly, just turned the gain down, turned the reverb down, and otherwise it's just the out of the box setting. And this is another Messer dual rec tone. You know, all that good stuff. And this next tone's cool as well, because it's basically like a tube screamer into a Marshall. Tremendous, isn't it? It really is a huge tone. Loads of sustain. It's just brilliant fun. Now let's use that same high gain tone, but with single coils, right? Bit much, right? So I've turned the gain all the way down. The noise gate as well is a bit more sensitive, and I've just trimmed the EQ a little bit. Cool, isn't it? And you can get into Tom Morello stuff. So it's a really good example of how you can take these huge tones and just sculpt them ever so slightly, and then you've got this cool, funky... Now, aside from amps and boost, overdrive, distortion pedals, this will also model most fuzz pedals, okay? So one tone that I went past, and if you have a listen to it first, right? Now, you might skip past that and think, ugh, doesn't sound too great, but that is based off a Fender blender, which is a really unique type of effect and fuzz pedal that Mike McCready used in Nothing As It Seems. Specifically the solo, right, where you get that. All that good stuff, right? But it's kind of a little weedy, so I'm going to add some reverb to it. And now we have this. That's pretty cool, isn't it? You get that secondary octave thing happening as well, right? I mean, I will noodle on that for some time. Check out the next one. It's a model of a Boss FZ5. It's perfect for Touch Me I'm Sick. That's great, isn't it? There's also a bunch of big muff pedal models on here. This is quite cool. But wait, what do we have here? A patch called Thrash. Hello. So I've tweaked that one there. I've put some more mids back into it to give it a bit of a Slayer vibe. But if you discard those, we have this more scooped type affair, which I really love for Testament, one of my favourite bands when I was a kid. And with that, we can totally play Practice What You Preach. Run through some kind of medium-ish gain tones. You've got Plexi. There's loads of like Plexi and Marshall related stuff. You know, great for that, isn't it? Another cool one is this Soldano based patch, which I thought was quite cool for some Alice in Chains stuff. You know, all that stuff. Grind. Another one I just happened to fly past was a tone called Slashy, so I added some more reverb to it, turned up the gain a bit. You can probably guess who that's based on. That guy. So I'm going to play you out with a little bit of Night Train. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you again soon.